still January 8th. Still January 8th. Couple things. So I don't know if I'm gonna add this to the previous video, depending on how long this one is. It's so funny how things are unfolding. So it ties into what I was just talking about the disruption that I was feeling with the overstimulation in my mind with TV, and kind of it blocking my ability to tap in through my dream state, and realizing like I'm having dreams, but it's so fuzzy and it's blurry and I can't grasp the message as clearly as when I don't binge watch TV. So I had a session with a client. She sees she watches my videos. So she knows who she is. But it was a great conversation. She highlighted something for me that I don't know if I mentioned it back when I realized it, and I didn't tell her this because it didn't click until after. I mentioned that there was a point. So we were talking about dreams, and you know, she's sharing with me her dreams. I'm helping her process the dreams, and we're at the phase where I'm encouraging her to just kind of sit with her emotions when these dreams unfold, and help her identify what was it that you felt, what was just you know, because she's starting to see now, right? Initially, when we were going through this process, there's a clear connection to her being able to do the research and tying it into her own situation. But now it's getting to that point where I anticipated that it was getting to the point where it's not going to match. And instead you have to tap into your own intuition, your own internal compass, if you will, of how things unfolded in your dream, and what is it telling you? What emotional response did you get? So she's at that point. She realized it. She's just like, it was weird because I couldn't find it make it sense. And I said, don't try to make it sense. Don't try to make it fit into making sense. What was it that you were getting? So anyways, we talked about that. I shared with her. I happened to share with her. No, she had a question for me. We had like 5 minutes left. And so she's like, I've been watching your videos. I said, okay. She's just like, that one where it was a more recent one, my timeline. That was titled, I didn't know how to respond when I got that text. When I was going about my day, everything was fine. And then this person from my past texted me, and then I felt stuck. And so she's just like, they're really resonating with her. I'm like, good. So, so she sharing with me, she's made a choice in her situation, and it's really bringing her back into a possible repeated cycle. And she's telling me what she's deciding. I said, listen to what you're needing to do. There is no wrong choice, right? You will learn from this experience regardless of what the outcome is. So that was actually something that we talked about last week, and I had completely forgotten. I had forgotten that she had made that choice until she made a different observation. She noticed something different within her dream state, because she was getting a lot of dreams. She made a comment about noticing that when she made that choice to connect with her again, connect with this partner, ex-partner, the dreams stopped or slowed down. She said they're not as apparent, they're not there as much, and they're only there when we're not together. And and so the only thing that stood out for me at that point was, the silence is purposeful. I told her, the silence is purposeful. They're waiting to see what you're gonna do, right? 'Cause she's in alignment with the same belief system, right? So it's a lot easier to talk about it. You know, your higher self, they're just waiting for you. to decide what to do next, because they're not going to interfere with your choices. That's the beauty of free will, right? Is you choose how you paint it for yourself. And they're going to step back and they're going to give you permission. They're going to allow you to choose and allow you to create your own reality. So they're waiting. They're just waiting is what I told her. They're just waiting for you to see what happens next. And then it prompted the other dream that is also in preparation to post. I mean, by the time you guys get this one, you would have already seen, with the fire sign, where I asked for guidance and I didn't get a response. So I told her, I said, if you ask for guidance and you don't get a response, it's the same thing. They're just waiting. They're waiting to see what unfolds next. Because, and I shared that story with her about the fire sign and how I asked, like, why is he uneasy? Why does he feel uneasy? And I didn't get a response. And intuitively, I kind of already had a suspicion. And then I had the dream after he responded and didn't address what I had said. The truth came out in the dream, and even then I was like still having to sit with it, right? And then when I confronted him about it, I didn't expect for him to. I confronted him in the sense of like, you're not saying something. You're not saying something. And so then when he responded back, right, he was just like, well, if we're talking about what we're not saying, I'm like, really? Like, all you had to do is be honest. And so I mentioned that to her. I was just like, so the fact that you're not, so it's a potential. It's not that it's a disruption like TV watching. TV watching was a clear, like, it was fuzzy. I couldn't separate it. Like, I had the feeling that it was a pronounced dream that I could easily have picked apart, but there was just a fuzz, like there was like a fuzziness with the message because I was binge watching on watching TV. And so now we have an overstimulated, right? And then this silence of connection that she's experiencing, because everyone's just kind of in waiting mode. She made a choice. She's in it. And they're not going to interfere with her choices. That's what she's wanting. Okay. And before that, the dreams were trying to help her heal. Trying to help her heal what was being triggered from this interaction. So it was just like one of those moments, right? And I think it was more surreal because I'm seeing it from someone else's perspective, right? Their own observations, self-reflection, right? Because all this whole time, this whole journey, it's more been my own self-reflection, my observations, and me spinning it, right? And trying to like try to put the puzzle pieces together. So it's really cool to see. I think there's just that validation, right? That I'm seeing it now in other people, and that other people are starting to be able to tap into that for themselves, right? That's the whole purpose of this whole journey. And so I appreciated her self-reflection and the observation that she made about the silence after having made this choice. And so I can sense that there was still some insecurity about the choice that she had made, and again, being non-judgmental and just saying, you're going to learn from it regardless. You are more equipped, definitely, in terms of your awareness of how things are going to could potentially unfold. So you could potentially do something different. And so then therefore there's going to be a potential different outcome. So I thought that was really neat that she noticed that within herself. And so it just, again, not necessarily that she's blocking herself, because she isn't, right? There's no wrong path to take. It's just a path with different lessons conveyed in a different way, right? Depending on how much we're willing to listen, right? And how quickly she'll pick it up and decide. But it's not even just her either. That's the thing. It's the other person involved too, because in my dream, in my situation, I was asking for the the outcome, and they could have given it to me. They could have given me the response of this fire sign, and they didn't. And it was literally waiting for him to respond, right? Waiting for him to respond. And because he wasn't being honest, that's when I got the answer. And or didn't have the intention. That's the other thing too. He didn't have the intention to be honest. That's why I didn't. It would have had another outcome. So now I'm just thinking about me and this person from my past, right? Why I got that dream. And that's why I knew it was potential energy with the bunnies, that it was everything that I wanted. And then even the dream after that, right, where his sister and this friend apparently, or some person, I was laying on my back and my belly was exposed. Like I could see my belly button. that's how I knew my belly was. I still don't understand why I was laying down. And I had them each on my side, and how they were shocked that I didn't know. That I didn't know that he had more feelings than what he led me on to believe. And I was just saying, no, I didn't know. And I was still feeling happy, like there wasn't any discomfort. And then he came afterward and he was checking up on me and he gave me a kiss. To see if I was okay. But again, just thinking like, why now, right? After everything. And it's because of it's the outcome. The outcome has changed. The outcome changed. So then those dreams that I had before, it was too soon. So the outcome was different. It just wasn't ready. The timing was right. I mean, had I stayed there before, he wasn't ready. And that's why I was being shown to keep walking away, because he's not ready. And again, it still could potentially change, right? I know that. It could still potentially change. Just like even with my ex, recapping on the dreams that I had with him, it started off where I made a choice to send him a letter about something that reminded me of him, and trying to help him to see, like, don't let this experience define you. Just learn from it. It's not about your self-worth. I mean, it is and it isn't, right? It is because it's highlighting what's needing his attention to heal, but to not to get stuck on the low vibration of it, to pull himself out of that. And how that night when I made that choice, he invited me to his wedding, but the wedding was with himself. Like, he wasn't really marrying anybody else. He was getting married to himself. And then later on, there were other dreams that he was upset. He was upset in some later dreams, and it happens to be around the time where I'm talking more about the affair. And then the one most recent one with this person from my past, where they were meeting, and I was happy that they were meeting, and I could feel my ex's energy. Like, I could feel he was nervous. He felt nervous, but he was meeting him, and I wasn't in it. Like, that was something else I noticed too, that there was the truck, and they were around the truck. They were interacting, and my ex comes around the back, and I can see it, but I'm not in it because my attention is elsewhere, but I just know that it's happening. And I can feel it. When my ex got closer to me, I could feel his energy. I could feel his anxiety, his nervousness about meeting this person from my past. And I just felt like they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out, right? But I was just happy. I was just happy that was unfolding. Battery's running out. But anyways, it's so interesting. I guess this is gonna be a separate video because it's already 15 minutes. But it's so interesting, so fascinating. Yeah. Anyways, that's all. The connection to that, and yeah. Okay. That's all. Bye. Hi. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learned to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us, in whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best.